Oh shit, oh my god, there's an echo. Right before this I was messing with the audio settings for oh, I got wavelength now that I have this mic. There's a button to mute the mic, but it also, when you unmute it, starts putting the monitor back to my headphones, and I hear myself on a delay. If you hear a delay or something sounds bad, definitely let me know. I mean, I have no idea what the fuck I'm doing here. I do have a, what is it, like a boom arm coming for, yeah, this guy. So sound should be better. What's weird in the monitor, it sounds like the air conditioner is pretty loud. I don't know if you hear that as much. That monitor might have been without sort of the noise reduction that Streamlabs has. I've been told it's okay, but if you hear it, let me know. I can turn it off. It's not that hot today. I'm just kind of a wuss about it. So, yeah, I figured I'd just jump on, do whatever. First of all, got to thank everyone who's, I mean, there's been so much crazy support through the live streaming. Yeah, it's just been, it's crazy. It's crazy, crazy, crazy. And the fact that, let's see if I can get this sorted out. Of course, I haven't done my homework and got this set up beforehand. Your boy now lives on the side of the month page. So the folio that me and Ari did, yeah, thank you to everyone who voted. It ended up winning side of the month for June. Pretty wild. Like, considering some of the people we were up against in terms of, like, I think there was like an active theory site in there. There was like a Make Me Pulse site in there. There was all kinds of shit. Although I can't find exactly where that link is, because there's a little bit of a case study that they wanted us to put together for the what's it called, for the just for the award site. And so there's a couple extra little things in there. Ari wrote it. I did some proofreading. I mean, Ari's first language is French. I'll put it in Twitch chat. Side of the month case study. And also, I am back on Twitch and YouTube. Last time, I have no idea what the hell happened. Like, I didn't reset my computer. I just gave it a day, didn't change a thing, and suddenly everything works. So, yeah, sweet. But yeah, so there's a couple of little things in terms of like what Ari came with, what I did. I don't know, nothing probably too unique that hasn't been talked about ad nauseum, but like the sub count keeps growing, which is awesome. I really appreciate whoever's finding their way here. If you're telling people about it, again, super awesome. Yeah, like, because there's some new subs, like, I feel like I've talked about this site probably enough. There was like the side of the day stream I did talking about it, some of the process. Yeah, so I'm just making myself available for that in case there's anything else I missed. Otherwise, probably just jump into some other stuff. Open to requests. I think putting AMA in the title is probably a good thing. I just, like, I want this to be so open, and continue to be more open. I do have things I always want to do and work on. I was working on the featured section for this. I don't know if this is going to bore people to tears again. I got photos I was working on last night. I got the singer concept. I need to start animating. I've got the Streamlabs. What's it called? Streamlabs, animations, and designs. That's also got to get sorted out. Um, I don't know. Open to requests. Otherwise, like, I feel like I need to figure out how to do queued up, um, just like overlays or like status. Because I have a whole idea of like a status indicator of like what I'm doing, like the sobriety index, the stress index, kind of where my head's at that point. Um, don't have that yet. That being said, also just re-upped um, on Streamlabs Prime, so YouTube streams are going to keep going for at least another month. So yeah, that's all I really got. Put like an AMA badge. One problem in Streamlabs, like if you put text in there, it is just, it like crashes it. So I'm scared to do it live on stream, but I don't know. Not me. Oh, let's see. I was fixing a bunch of stuff this morning, kind of knowing the side of the month. I found out at like 5 a.m. this morning because we'd known that we'd won side of the month. I kind of alluded to something coming up in terms of like an announcement. So I kind of prepped for an influx of people. I don't know how many people are on the site right now, or what the traffic's been like today. I think people are pretty well aware of this site. And the side of the month thing, it's kind of like, it's a nice feather in our cap, but I really don't think people give a shit. Like, it was great. Like the side of the day, it brought it in front of a lot of people. I don't know how many more people are going to find it side of the month. Maybe one or two. I don't know. I was just taking this opportunity to just kind of come in here and clean, do a little housekeeping. And I went against my better judgment and I made fonts a little bit bigger in some places. I know it's against my vice principles, but I mean, in doing that, I did learn a little bit about like, so if I'm going to fix size fonts, I did learn a little trick that if I want to be very specific with the line height, to use M units. So that'll be units relative to the font size. 0.97 is what I was happy with. So it's interesting, like some of these taller font sizes. So 12.5, I mean, it's getting pretty fucking big. But using line height in M units, I think it's pretty nice. And I could probably use the font size in M units too. I don't do a lot of font size in M units, or set font sizes on the divs. So then it's like relative to that div. It's kind of like that's not the way my brain thinks. Maybe I should of like setting this div to like 24 pixel font and then have this be like 1M, 0.5M, 0.25M, because it's all relative units of the main, of like whatever that size is. So that's, I mean, little things, just learning. So I think like, because for me, no, not 12M. 12 pixels was a little tight. 13 pixels felt like too much. So then I was like, all right, 0.98 M. Feels like a nice middle ground. So when it tries to like render on the pixel level, you can kind of get why it doesn't do it. Although how it does like 0.5 of a pixel, but it can't do in font size, but it can't do it in line height. I don't know these things. This is why I don't. This is why I put the kibosh on that. On the what's it called? On the awards thing. I am not the person to be teaching all this like development shit. I think Ari might cry himself to sleep if he he found out I was the one teaching development. God no. Why is this something wrong? Oh, I've been having a weird go with these things. Info? I knew that was gonna happen. Why? Oh, yeah, this is not good. Why is the originals? Actually, I do know why. There's so much bad stuff going on in here. Sorry. Home section title link. Why is the align to the top? Weird. Yeah. Jw.S home. Alexa, what's going on? To the width. Oh, for fuck's sakes. Good old negative margins. Love to see it. All of them fucked up? This one's not. Why? Why are these different font sizes? 2216. 2116. What the heck? It's definitely too tight. So, there we go. I'm doing something crazy, downloading archived human Tumblr? I swear. I definitely feel old. Then we'll turn on racist mode on joke and sort all portraits by approximate for color correction. You know, I saw there's a colorist. I think it's actually on Awwwards. It was a really cool concept. It was like whoever did it, I mean, I think it was a really smart way of doing it. They basically organized their full body of work based on like color temperature in the image that they graded. So you could see like, and there's like a little slider at the top. Where is that? Should probably look in categories, but I'm stubborn and I'm already this far in. The old gambler's mentality. Although I may call it quits here in a second. God damn it. Okay, well, eat my words. Oh, why isn't it? Isn't portfolio a category? Gallery, full screen. This is like how portfolio isn't in here. It's like promotional. What the fuck is that? Phone and TV. Seems like it would be if he's a colorist. You guys seen that? You know what I'm talking about? Congrats on the side of the month. Just discovered a few weeks ago. Your work is epic. Hey, thank you, Izzy. Appreciate it. Um, yeah, thank you to everyone who voted for that. If you're on here, I'm gonna keep saying that. I think people kind of come and go. But yeah, appreciate it. I don't know. I mean, be curious. How did you find my channel? Out of curiosity. Um, this guy? Was it a mouthwash site? I think it is. Colors. Yep. Fucking mouthwash. Damn, that's almost looks familiar. Arjun, yo, what's going on, man? Yep. I mean, it's clever. It's like sorts everything by color temperature. Gotta give it to him. Stuff's so rad. This guy's good. Yeah, that's so good. Yeah. We found your Twitch link on your site the day I did. Oh, okay. Sweet. Yeah, I was plugging my Twitch pretty hard and like the homepage banner. I'm probably gonna go back to doing that as like the de facto thing. Because I don't know, I think I spend a lot of time here. I see a lot of potential here with doing these streams. So, yeah, appreciate you sharing a little bit of market research for me, as I'm flying blind and have no idea what the fuck I'm doing. So, but yeah, kind of the whole MO of these is ask whatever, talk about whatever. Doesn't have to be relevant to what I'm doing. Just kind of cruising. I mean, sometimes there'll be streams where I'm more focused, but like today, I want to be productive, that's for sure. I just don't know. I have a lot of things I can work on. Did a lot of color grading the other night. I had an edible and I tried working on the singer concept. Just, it's too technical. It was like, I was like trying to like mentally map out like 5 steps ahead, and it was just like drawing a blank. Is this gonna work? Nah, of course not. Why would it? Oh, it's still on Font Lab. So I was on this guy, which I think is coming together. I think it's more or less there. I think I was looking at is like how to display all the builds. Oh, that just drags. So I'm trying to keep this realistic to actually like how many builds Singer has. I don't know if something like this is more appropriate. I don't know. This comes back to like an old design I initially had for the original collaboration. What are your tips on collaborating with other designers? You know, other designers is kind of tough. I've mostly collaborated with people outside of my sort of wheelhouse, like Ari, or like Ash with the poster series. I'm trying to like. There's a couple people I want to collaborate with. There's like people who I know are like 3D artists or do like motion design. And I'm kind of in this point of like, do I want to struggle through learning that myself, or do I want to talk to someone and like just have them do it and bring, like we collaboratively bring things together. I don't know. I mean, I think just like getting on Twitter and just interacting with people and creating rapport with people you like, you want to work with at some point. And I feel like with collaboration, it's kind of a, I don't know. I don't know what, like if everyone feels the same about it, if they're all like as open to it.
Um, so like, I don't know, like building rapport with people, but also expecting like they just may not want to work together. I've I've gotten rejected a lot. Just floating ideas of like, hey, like you want to jump into this? Like, nah, not really. Okay, that's not someone I'm gonna collaborate with. And that's fine. Like, I don't make friends with people just with like the intent of collaborating with them. Like, there's people like even like with Ash in the past, it was just like we would just chat, talk about stuff. He would just like send me renders and stuff he was working on, or he was trying to convince me to buy a Raptor at one point because I have a Forerunner and all this stuff, and it just turned out like he was doing something, and I just floated the idea of like, hey, um, if you ever want to do something like with those posters together, like let me know. I'm down. And that's kind of that was like a scary one because he's kind of got a rep. Does really good work. Um, so I mean that was kind of dicey for me. Um, but yeah, just like floating it. I mean, worst someone can say is no. And I think, oh, my camera's is my camera still turned? Oh, I'm pretty sure Elgato's releasing a camera tomorrow, so I'm gonna probably get that, so I don't have to deal with this fucking webcam anymore. Um, but yeah, like I think when you have the same skill set, I think it's gonna be tough. I think unless it's like a really broad project and there's enough room for everyone to operate within. Um, I haven't done much where it's like pure overlap, where um, it's like we're both working on the same thing, kind of in the way like you find it like agencies when you have a new project. You'll have multiple art directors, designers coming up with concepts at the same time in parallel, and then kind of picking and choosing the things after that that come together. So it does make sense, but I think with people and their time, it's going to be a tough sell to like to work on something and potentially not have anything go through. And um, I mean, some people might be open for it. I don't know. Like if the end goal is to just make the raddest thing possible and have both of your names attached to it, um, and like maybe if that happens and it's one sided, then and it's like all right, whatever, and it keeps being one sided again. Like that might not be the best collaborative pairing. Um, like ideally, you're kind of on equal footing and kind of equally contribute. Um, and so there's I don't know. Like you just want to make sure like I think for anyone they want to make sure they get something out of their time spent. And I think people might look at that in different ways in terms of like maybe if you're more junior working with someone more senior, like you're at least learning things about the process, learning things. I don't know, like looking at different ways of solving the same problem. Like if you didn't see it in that way, like you're getting value out of like dissecting what they did. You may not have like your work being pushed all the way through. I'm sure you'll have little things go through, but um, so that may like satiate some people of like, okay, I'm learning through these collaborations. I'm not exactly creating as much, but I get to kind of collaborate and help out and hopefully learn. Um, so yeah, everyone's gonna have a different like set of motivation or what's the words I'm looking for? Like hierarchy of not needs. What the fuck am I trying to think of? I guess it's a hierarchy of motivations. I just combine the two. Um, yeah. So I think like identifying that, and then if you know the person, you kind of know what they're after, so you can kind of feel out what the right opportunities are that they might be interested in. Because ideally, like yeah, with collaborations, you're making something together that you couldn't make independently. So, um, yeah, what side of the month mean, or what is what is SOTM mean, yeah, side of the month. So that was on yeah, so it was announced this morning. Yeah, pretty wild. Um, so there's a little, I posted in the Twitch chat, I believe. I don't know how to post into like the YouTube chat right now. I really wish there was a way to post into both. But yeah, the site I've been rattling on about that I did with Ari, one side of the month. So pretty excited about that. Gave me a reason to just get on stream. What I actually do, I don't know. I did this last time. I think I bored some people with it. Because there are like 35 plus meetings of SOTM. I don't know if I want to. I feel like if I hit Urban Dictionary with SOTM, I'm going to come up with something I don't like. That's, you know, it's, I don't have my Chrome tab up. Do this in safety. Oh, my own peril. SOTM, someone other than me. Song of the moment. Straight out of the mud? The fuck? There you go. Apparently there's 4 meanings according to Urban Dictionary. So maybe I should have been more clear that this is not Song of the Moment stream. The creativity on Urban Dictionary just never ceases to amaze me. So good. I recently found probably the coolest large e-commerce site I've seen. Let's see, .com? Let's get my tabs right. Oh, fuck, I don't have it on there. I gotta build out my... these prompts. Pretty rad cut for the video. This feels like an Area 17 site. Is that who did this? But, oh, built in Amsterdam. I can't spell. There we go. Thank you. Yeah, content's really strong. You can see all the through lines and the color palettes, like the orange. I mean, it's teal and orange. Works well for a case study. Yeah, teal and orange. There you go. If you ever wanted embodied. Interface as a client. WCAG 2.1. What the hell is that? I've never heard of that shit. I guess I've been out of e-commerce for a while.
think I've seen this site. Shoppable Expedition, maybe? And I like that font. Just those like kind of weird ink. I don't even know if they're called technically ink traps. Probably not. Not AAA? Yeah, I don't know. Sketch or Figma? So I'm Sketch. I do both. Um, but I tend to skew Sketch just because I have all these libraries built in. So like if a client needs me to go into Figma, I mean they're pretty much the same exact thing. There's some nice little touches about this. I don't know anything about Build in Amsterdam. I've heard the name, but if I recognize, wait, is there just two people? Oh no, carousel. Oh, see, should have autoplayed it or something. Let's see if I recognize any names. I mean, I'm so like out of the loop. I probably wouldn't recognize anyone anyways. No, it's a nice site. Compare modules. What the fuck just happened? These, like, this is what happens when people just listen to analytics. Like, that is so confusing for no fucking reason. Maybe it's just old man John. I don't know why they made this full width, but I'm sure there's some reason with horizontal products, I guess. I mean, okay. Some interesting things here. It's very smooth, give them that. That's for sure. Some things are definitely a little strange, but it's really nice. Gotta give them credit. This is weird. Am I going between different shoes, different colorways? Why are they different? Did they just not keep up? We'll see. Production. It's a problem. I'm guessing they did these and then the client did these. Look at this. It feels like really very aggressive with their sizing. Maybe my aspect ratio was weird, I don't know. This feels more realistic. This is like, I don't know what I did. Maybe I just fucked it up. Probably. This is kind of silly. Just me. I don't know if it's just. Yeah, what did. Oh, you don't have to click on those. Yeah, I mean, it's really nice. There's just some really strange stuff in here, like in the details of it. But I can find anything to hate, I guess. I like the mobile type interactions and buttons. Yeah, I mean the interactions are nice. Like I gotta give them credit. Like they're trying to like this navigation. I do really like this. There should be like product names or something underneath here. Can I click into product details? No. That's weird. That seems like a really strange interaction for me.
Always rough when clients can't keep up with production quality. Yep. Got to. I mean, yeah, it's like always hard to get a read of like what their production abilities are. Like that, a lot of times that dictates like how far you can push things. I think there's ways to do it where, like you can kind of, you can guide them through it. It's like, I mean, turning it back on myself for better or worse was like with Nixon back in the day, wanted to add drop shadows and like I wanted to like relight the product so it felt more 3D. It added like let's see if I still have it. It added a drop shadow. It added like like a highlight, inner shadow. It was like supposed to be the only 3D thing on the site, and so it created a bunch of droplets for them. So it's like literally, it was like sat with their studios like, all right, so if we're gonna do this, all you do is you just take those shots you shot in the studio, and drop them on this droplet, and it'll create PNGs for you. Ended up being scrapped. I want to see if this will probably. Nope. All right, where are we? Photoshop. What's that? Not an option yet. Let's go Chrome, Photoshop, not Clocker Status. So weird. Streamlabs, like sometimes things show up. Let's go Lightroom tab. Lightroom, window, Photoshop. This is just one of like the product pages. Basically, it's, oh god, that's all you can see right now. All right, desktop. Hopefully nothing's. Okay. Got my shit together a little bit. So it's like basically this inner shadow, drop shadow, and it would clip it. I can't remember, they shot on a very specific background, and so within the droplet, it would, like you can do select colors, select color range, and I believe it might have been, I can't remember. There was some way of like selecting the specific colors and it knocked it out. And you could just create like a mask on it and then apply the layer effects to that. I can't remember, it's been like, it was like 2014. But I can't believe it's been that long. But yeah, so droplet meaning in Photoshop template or something. So droplet is, so let's say if you, do you know actions in Photoshop? Because that's, so for me, I have like a photo site resize. So if I have images right now that I export out for like the screensaver or the Apple TV app, I can quickly modify those to be ready for my website. So these are 3600 by 2400, but I want to get those down. So it's like a simple action of like, I want to create these at the proper size for my site. So a droplet looks like this. So photo site images. So I can just drop this. Oh shit, I haven't used this for a minute. So I moved the destination folder. But basically it just runs a series of automations. So for photo set resize, it changes the image size. Well, it'll open the image, change it to 1200 pixel width, and then export and close. So this is like the save for web optimization settings. So I can grab multiple images and just drop them on that, and it'll export it out. And you can make those as much as you can automate with actions in Photoshop. Like, I don't know if I have any of the original product. Well, there's not gonna be an easy way for me to do it. God, this is so weird looking at this. So yeah, so like if you're trying to automate something, or if you need to like think about production for a company that just doesn't have the abilities or the know-how, but you want to put, like, this requires, like, I don't know if they have PNGs or if they bake in the background color. So if the background color is always the same, you can use JPEGs with the solid background built in. Which it looks like they're doing. Yeah, they're just JPEGs. Because you can also, I mean, I don't know, there's all sorts of crazy shit we used to try at Apple, doing like SVG masking of JPEG sequences. Like, it was wild shit. Instead of using PNGs. That's the kind of time we had. I've done that before for some heavy sites. I didn't know you could have it as a desktop shortcut though. That's pretty sick. Yeah, so if you go File, Automate, and then Create Droplet, and so you just basically choose where you want the droplet saved, and then so in Actions you have like specific sets. I don't really use sets, but these are all the actions here. So photo size, photo site resize. There's all these other settings in here. You can have it stop for errors, suppress color profile warnings, all this shit. Modify extension names, which I think is kind of nice too. So yeah, I think it's really nice. Actually, no, I don't. Definitely recommend it. I think I may have skipped a couple things here. In a site, use the cutout path that is saved inside of a JPEG. The cutout path. What do you mean by a cutout path? Like, so like what I masked out? This is not. So basically, like, if you're talking about this product and how it's, well, like this product, the way it's masked out and doesn't have a background, like that sort of transparency can't be translated to a JPEG. It's gonna have to be flattened. Like, JPEGs don't have transparency, so if you try and save this layer by itself with like no background as a JPEG, like, it'll just flatten it on white. So then you're losing all sense of the edge. One thing you can do, and like what I was mentioning, is it SVG masking of in HTML. You can mask element inside an SVG document to add masking effects to HTML elements and other SVG graphics. So I don't know too much about this, but there's a way to have a JPEG where the original image is just, it's not a transparent PNG, because that transparency in terms of load time, like for us, like we were doing, it was the Apple Watch site where they, like, you scroll down and there are all these like passive animations, and those are all JPEG sequences. And like, if you want to have a smooth looking rotation, you have to have at least 30 frames. Like, if you want to have I mean, ideally you're having 30 frames per second. It's kind of, I don't know, anything below that and it starts looking kind of jittery. So we need to be very aware of um, like all the file sizes. So the difference between JPEG and PNG was like huge as you because you're then extrapolating it and multiplying it by 30, and there were multiple image sequences. So we were looking at like tens of megabytes of difference using a PNG versus a JPEG. Um, it was a heavy production lift. I didn't have to do it, but my understanding is that they are able to like you create an SVG in the outline you want on top of the JPEG, and then you just have to pair them for every sequence. So for every image sequence or every frame of the animation, you would have to pen tool out the outline. And in some of these products, like one of them was it was like the Apple Watch with the, what's it called? It was the metal loop band. I don't know what the hell it's called, but those had like transparencies in between it as well. Like I don't know if they went in and penned out every single one. Um, Again, production level high, but if you're really trying to be optimized, I wonder if it would. Is it 2015? I don't know if this is gonna work. Probably 2016, actually. I think it's 2016. I don't know what these different colors mean for the snapshots. This Wayback Machine is such a beautiful thing. Looks familiar? Yeah. It was like this band that was problematic. I think we got rid of the. Or these might be JPEGs. Network. Yeah, so this is the frame. So there's all this like subtle rotation are all individual JPEGs with SVG masks on top of them. So that's this guy right here. So it's like rotating, but it's also doing a slight 3D rotation. Do I think it's worth it? Probably not. I think there was more animation. I think this is the static version, if I'm being entirely honest. Um, yeah, because the clasp would close. I think this is the fallback one that the Wayback Machine captured. Because there was more. It was like this. I definitely know this. This like closed, and then it like sent reverberations through the band, which was pretty fucking rad. But yeah, shit like that. It's just like really want to do it. I wonder if I could download these SVGs. Oh, see, there you go, SVG. So that's what they penned out, all these little gaps and all this shit for every single frame. It's just like, it's wild. I don't know if they still do that or not. I mean, it's just with how much assets change, it's a heavy lift. Yeah, this is a fun one. This is like the only concept at a high level. Uh, that different version. This is not what I pushed initially. I mean, this is back. This is
I don't even know. I'm trying to like mentally block out. Is it Lucida? Yeah, I guess it is Myriad. I forgot yeah. There's so, so much of this coming back. Yeah, SVG masks. Can be done. If you save a path while working on an image and save it as a JPEG, the first top path from Paths panel will be saved inside the JPEG. I didn't know it was saved in JPEGs. That's interesting. What would I mean? I don't know what that process would be called. How do you leverage like JPEG path SVG mask? Can't just clip with any element. Inline SVG drawn with a path. You can get it to work pretty much everywhere if you put the image inside the SVG like this. So maybe, I guess is the short answer. Yeah, I don't know. It'd be interesting though, if you could just like within one JPEG, not have to have a separate SVG file. But my guess, like if it was done on the Apple site, it was probably the best way to do it. It's really smart, but a lot of work. Yeah, like every frame, it's crazy. I don't know how they. I mean, I know how they do. They have a huge production team that can help out with those things. Because so many things that like we come up with, like art direction, they require so much production, and they have a very talented production team there. So they kind of, I don't know, they make like everything happen. It's pretty wild. I know for a fact that JPEG can have vector path saved in it because I did that for a catalog for easy placement into InDesign. Is it automatically applying it so very easy to place images? That's good to know. I definitely didn't. I didn't know about that. I don't do a lot of transparent PNGs, but I mean it's something good to know for sure. The more you know. You gotta have that like GIF or something. Have that on a button I can just always push. What projects are you working on currently? So right now I have this scrap collaboration turn singer concept. I'm trying to get the last bits of this done, and then I'm trying to figure out how the fuck I'm gonna animate it. There's a couple states that just don't quite make sense yet. But like if I'm gonna do all these load-in sequences and animate all these, it's just gonna be like a long process. And I need to talk to my buddy who does motion animation for, or motion design for Google for a living. He does all expressions. Everything's like very well thought out. And the way I want to do this is not very thought out. Granted, I don't see a whole lot of changes coming, but you never know. Never know. So I got this I'm working on. I have the photo website I'm working on. I have. I have to do the content for the photo website. I have to do the story design. I teased it out a little bit on Instagram with like the Yosemite series. It's kind of like an Ansel Adams tribute. There's that one. There's like a girl from the North Country. There's another like North Shore series. Have a desert series. Have an Iceland series. Ari needed to take on some client work, so he's kind of on pause right now. So I've got a bit of a head start on him. So I'm just trying to like, and right now I'm in talks with a couple people for client work. I don't know if I can say who, but
I mean, nothing's firm. It's all just like initial talks and schedules and all that fun stuff. But I will be going back to work somewhat soon, so that might kind of curtail some of these streams. Um, I think coming out of it, like, so I took 3 months off to try to like do my thing. That was the initial thought, was like through the end of July. And that's coming up, and I kind of need to start booking it, but I'm not in a huge rush. Um, I just wanted to make sure I came out of this time with something to show for. And I think getting the live stream started and having like some sort of audience here, like that's a fucking win for me. I love this shit. I love what it's turning into. I love being able to give back however I can. For what it's worth, I'm at least trying. So I'll take the participation trophy, I guess. Um, I do want to get more into like developing the Apple TV app into something more. I want to get more wallpaper packs out. I want to the Stream Deck pack. I want to get out there. Um, just different little initial sort of ideas that I've just been like. There's so many things I've queued up, and I just haven't had the time. Um, this whole collaboration, it's just like it's really a bummer because I really scrambled and dropped everything to try and make it happen. To have like an additional follow up to the to Ari's site, and that's kind of the idea of that has kind of disseminated into my photo site. There's a lot of so between this and my photo site, there's probably going to be some parallels. Um, Something like the zoom functionality, the grid, they're basically both media sites. Um, so even in the bad, there's good, but it's kind of like left me. So now I have to repurpose work that it was already kind of good to go. So now I'm burning more time into this, but it's either I burn more time in it and have something to show, or I just lose it all together. And I don't know. I need to like build up my work again because like it's interesting as I'm talking to like potential clients, what they want me to do is very interesting. And it's not, some of it's good, some of it's like more production level stuff. And that's like, I've got to sit back and start thinking about like, I mean, looking at my site, it's like, what am I doing wrong and how I'm messaging things for myself? So, um, I don't know if I'm going to end up doing the most exciting stuff right now, just because I didn't do a good job of messaging my interest and all that good stuff. I tried to like I pulled stuff from the archives like this kind of shit. Like I don't want e-commerce. I don't want tech. Like I want just like more interesting concept type shit. Um, so yeah, let's see what comes up. What type of client work do you search for? I guess yeah, I was kind of hitting on that. I don't know. So this is where also I spent time on this info page. I added more information. So initially it was just this kind of high level talking about what I do, um, years of experience. I'm also doing originals, but then this like whole about section. Um, how I'm more senior, but I'm still doing design. How I've done interactive work, but I'm open to other stuff. Here's my experience. Here's kind of what I'm doing, and then this whole collaboration section. Um, and like I pretty much spell out everything I want to do and the verticals I'm interested in the hopes of like pulling, I don't know, or just like trimming down what's coming to me. Um, so I don't have to like sift through a lot of different emails that are just not for me. Um, but it's like assuming people are gonna. You would think people would read through this stuff, but sometimes they just don't have the bandwidth. So I'm kind of finding that now. So I can't really bank on this as much. Of like this is what's gonna get me the work. Like this is gonna weed out all that shit I don't want to do, but it's definitely not. I'm getting hit up for like junior level stuff too, and it's like, do you? This is also the problem with recruiters and why I largely ignore them, because they're all just numbers people. They're not recruitment. It's like a human interaction, it feels like, but they're just blasting out shit to everyone, whether it's relevant or not. And it's like, I can go look on job boards if that's what I do. I gotta make this T intro. We're going bigger. So yeah, that's part of the downside of freelance. All like the finding work. And I'm in a weird place where I'm senior, but I haven't done a ton of freelance, so I may not have the network, so I may end up doing work that I'm not totally crazy about. But again, like as long as it's getting better over time and I kind of know what to look for, it'd be hard to complain. Like it's going to be a growing process. I'm going to learn as I go. Let's see. Sorry, I think I'm getting caught up. Just discovered that accidentally. Oh, I think you're talking about the masking. Just downloaded a JPEG and placed it in InDesign, and suddenly it was cut out. I started to dig what the hell happened, how InDesign auto cut it. And trying to save it, so doing a calendar died, it never printed, but yeah, I mean little shit like that. Like even me bitching about like the collaboration that didn't happen, there's a lot of stuff that I learned, like just ways to be optimized in all this process. Like even for all the L's you take, like there's still gonna be shit to learn for sure. Got any tips for designing your own portfolio site? Say a prayer. I don't know, man. That's like the worst project. It's starting the process right now, and it feels like an endless road. Yeah, there you go. Anything you look for specifically or hate seeing? Through what lens? I guess would be for the last part. What I like seeing or hate seeing. I mean, everyone has their. I was thinking about this today of like subjective feedback on here. I have a lot of opinions and I try and like back them up with like objective sort of reasons, but you can't always. So I don't know how much of that I should do. I want to say like I mean, me not liking something is that's just me. I'm like really weirdly picky about some things, and that everyone else loves. So I don't know. Like I shouldn't be the one person to say something. But yeah, like getting started, and I don't know. I think I showed it before. I don't want to scare you though. like if I pull up my process for my site, it might scare you because it kind of scares me to look at sometimes. Versions, which version? I could probably. You're not scared? Okay. All right. Let's. You ain't scared? Oh, let's see. Not trying to scare you, but no. Portfolios are scary. You know, I'm just gonna do desktop streaming. Fuck it. So this was one file. Just looking at like design section headers, and I'm very iterative to start with, but I just had like no idea where to go. What was the right feel? So a lot of this was just sort of like using colors. Am I color blocking? Am I like what's my type style? Am I more reserved? Am I doing layers? I mean, but this is just one. I hate to say it. I mean, this is like just the color exploration, secondary page exploration. That's when we're just looking at
case study exploration, product hero explorations. Oh, this is the original one. That's how my last site started out. Yeah, weird stuff. Stuff is just like, glad I didn't go live with that. Process. Also, I was trying to do a bunch of like gradient masking. But yeah, I'm not like trying to flex at all. Like, this is almost kind of embarrassing that like this is what it took for me to get through. I mean, if you look at my old site, I think it was okay. I think there's a lot of complaints about it. This is like those processed. What's in the case study one? Not this. So this is just the route I went. I don't know if I recommend this. Actually, I don't recommend this. Don't do this. Like, this is how you lose your mind. This is how you burn. How long did I spend on this? I got the bulk of the site done in about 2.5 weeks, and then I spent the next 5 months here, churning, iterating, and just being like, fuck, like all this, because like you. Okay, so I started doing stuff in development. So this was part of the problem. It's like I had my foot in the ground in some places of like, this is what I know I like, so I'm trying to like bend what I have and like not let go of that, but then start like, how do I explore off of that? So I was dropping in screenshots of the development site, and it's like, how am I working around that? But that was a blocker in and of itself. So this sort of like design development back to design, I don't recommend. That's kind of what got me in trouble. And there's a lot of like just self-doubt that crept in. Like if you look at something long enough, like it all just I'm trying to think of like what's a better linear process. So for me, if I was starting brand new right now, so I've got my, where is it? I guess I turn it into brand. So kind of just passively keeping in mind like what my aesthetic is. There's a lot of things I like so for the no ISO board, there's a lot of stuff I really like in here, but it's not my style. Um, I mean, it is. It's my I like it, but it's not something like I wouldn't do something like this for myself. There's a clear delineation between like there's an appreciation for that, and there's something that I want to use as inspiration for myself. Um, and kind of just like looking around it and like just progressively narrowing in on what that is. I think that is something that would definitely help. But again, there's so much room to play within that. So the whole idea is like the problem I feel for portfolio design is that there's literally no guardrails. And designers in general almost always function within some form of guardrails of whether it's for a client, there's an established brand, there's key objectives, there's something that narrows it down from just like literally anything. But you don't have that when you design for yourself. It's like this weird sort of like I don't know the best way of putting it, but it's like when you have all these constraints with the client, you're like, oh, this sucks. I wish I could do this. But then when it's gone, it's like, I kind of wish I had it back. It's like a Stockholm syndrome of sorts. Um, yeah. So I think like having this in the back of your mind, and then I think being open to an iterative path. I don't recommend like like the looping around, where it's like I started designing, went to development, and then went back. Like, it's gonna happen in some degrees, but like I don't think rethinking things entirely to this level is healthy or productive. Oh yeah, there's these two. I forgot. Yeah, and just being along for the ride. I don't know what point you start being okay with things. That's something I'm not good with. Um, because there's a lot of things in here that I was like, oh fuck, like this is it. I remember being like really pumped on this, and I created a whole like hover interaction on Webflow with this, where it was like as you hovered over it, if you hovered across in a horizontal line, there was like a slight offset and fade out and scale, and it created like this wave. I was like, oh, like fuck, like what else am I gonna do on a contact page? Like contact pages are boring, but now this is kind of interesting. But then I just like changed my mind. I was like, no, that doesn't feel right. I don't know why, but all part of the problems. I've recently been into leaning into grids, like Swiss design kind of stuff. It's a court. Yeah, this feels like Area 17 type stuff. I mean, Area 17's just got such a distinct style. It's like very reductive, but it's very well done. Very gridded. Like I've heard stories about their of like how they design, what their process is, like all these crazy fucking baseline grids, and I don't really understand baseline grids if I'm being entirely honest. I understand them, I don't understand the appeal to them. Seems oh, well, maybe they're gonna show it. It's 24 column grid. You fucking kidding me. Yeah, 24. Well, those that I know. What would you recommend then? Oh, so I think kind of got into yeah. What I recommend is yeah, creating some sort of guardrails for yourself, and then I don't think there's a way around the iteration. At least for me, like this is how I work, so it's kind of hard to give blanket sort of information on that or advice. For me, it was iterate. And I've slowly started like latching on to certain things that I liked. I liked certain type treatments, and then it just kind of narrowed in more and more. Like unless you have a clear picture, and that might be the difference between you and I is like you have a very clear picture of what you like and where you want to go. I didn't. So I kind of embraced the iteration process, but again, that's something I do in general. So I don't know if I'd necessarily advocate that entirely. By bulk of the site, what do you mean? Like, what was those first 2 weeks spent doing before this? Let's see if I have. I mean, this is all a broader process. Like, this is where it all. Oh, so this. It all kind of comes full circle. It's really random. This is from what? It's 2019. I had an old site. I think I talked about it stream last time. Where is it? It's not this one. So this has been a constant evolution for me from stuff I did in 2018 till now. Yeah, so this is kind of this center navigation, which turned into this, which I think you can kind of start seeing the early phases of even like this 2019 site.
Um, yeah, I need to figure out how to like manage this chat. Like I'm getting a little caught behind. Um, the self doubt is so real. I've redone the site like 3 times now. Yeah, yeah, and like that's. And feel free to like reclarify, or like if you have any clarifications by bulk of the site. What do you mean? I think I've rambled long enough. I've kind of gotten away from that, which I don't know the exact context of that. But self doubt is for sure going to be there. It's I don't know. For me, it's not going away. I look at this stuff and I'm always changing it, and it's just the thing is for me is like there's almost no point in refining this stuff. I think. I mean, there is, but like cost benefit again of like, what do I stand to gain by like noodling all these different like this Excel viewport? I'm finally getting around to updating that, or it's like the Delta section. I'm adding all this other features, and at this point, am I better served of like what do I stand to gain by refining this further or exploring this again? And not much is what I would say. Um, it's just is that not going to do it? Did. So you just hit a point of this is something Ash told me. Like nothing's ever done. It's just due, and it's kind of identifying that point of like, you know what, I have other shit I got to do. Like I can't do this forever. Um, and what's funny is like all the shit that I almost couldn't live with, no one's mentioned on my site. So it's like all this stuff that I was just obsessing over, like no one notices. It's just people don't. We care so much about it because it's like it's our baby that we put so much energy into. But yeah, if you just notice yourself kind of making nominal improvements with large amounts of time, like that's when you start just kind of calling it. Don't look for a linear path. Look for the linear path. There you go. Yeah, there was. I can't remember. I think it was an Apple thing where they had like a diagram. They talked about like the process. Why is it a Montserrat? That's weird. But it was basically like start to finish, and it was. I'm doing this terribly and very quickly. Nope. It was like this. So it started all nice and clean, and then it was just like this crazy shit in the middle, and then it's just like ends up with this clean. Like this kind of middle phase is, I think it's very specific to how things work at Apple, because that's that's the kind of washing machine every idea goes through. It's just like stress testing, validating, learning all sorts of new things, and the linear path, it happens a lot. I started thinking with the grid system could serve as a good guardrail. I mean, definitely. Like, so there's actually been a couple people requesting a grid video, and I think that's something better for me to just like put some thought into instead of like painfully tiptoeing into the subject, like really having a thought out like evolution in how I talk about it. Because as you can tell from this stream, like I'm very easily distracted, derailed, go on tangents. So that one I'll make. Maybe that will be the first video. Oh, whoa, what? Can you hear me? Oh, there we go. Is that all it takes? Whoa, okay. I just noticed, I was like looking at this Elgato mic and I was like, oh, there's a mute button on it. Not knowing it's just like a touch button. There you go. I'm in the same boat as you, very iterative and don't have a clear vision. That's okay. I mean, that's been me my whole career, and like it can be really stressful. Like if you're on tight deadlines, and I mean, there's some things you probably have a pretty clear idea on how to do. Um, but there's gonna be some things where it's just like, I don't know, I gotta work through this. And like our portfolio sites are gonna be the ultimate test of that sort of I don't know, I guess workflow would be the right word. Um, yeah, it's tough. Congrats on the side of the month, brother, bringing home the gold. Hey, thanks, Sal. Much appreciated, man. Fuck, I lost your fucking Twitter message again, dude. God damn it. I do want to take a look at that site. I haven't had the chance yet. Sorry, there's random stuff coming through. Yeah, I want to take a look. I want to look at the locomotive stuff. Because one thing I'm looking at now is like all these product titles. I stripped out all like the random. Oh, okay. All the random. See, this is already broken. What the fuck? The random spacing, the 3 lines. Like it was just the photos one was too much. It was just like this crazy thing. And I want to go back to I had a marquee back in the day. I'd love just to put that in there. I don't know if I could do that or if I could just, I don't know, do something with the locomotive scroll. So I definitely want to take a look at that. I will get back to you, man, I promise. It's just been wild with like the side of the month stuff today. Kind of just, got to ping the channels and all that fun stuff. And I was doing a bunch of cleanup on my site, making fonts bigger, this whole shit. Progress over progression. Or perfection. I was gonna say, I was like, it's the same thing. Yeah. Yeah, there's never perfection, man. I mean, if I ever hit an end goal of like, or what I thought was perfection, like, fuck, that'd be boring. I don't know what I would do at that point. It's like, take up painting or something? I don't know. That's what I love about this shit is like, there are some people who think they've hit the finish line and like they're up on stages doling out very prescriptive advice, but they probably shouldn't be listened to all that much. There's some good ones, but there's some bad ones. But yeah, it's just like the constant growth. That's the most fun for me, and it's like I'm fueled by inferiority complexes, and I've talked about it a lot, but just never being satiated, or like always seeing opportunities to be better. It's not the healthiest approach, but keeps pushing me forward. Do you do design critiques on stream? Would love to hear your thoughts. I was thinking about that. I think I've alluded to it at some point, but it would be interesting of like how I could organize like a critique session, because I don't really message this out on the social channels, probably to my own detriment. I have this weird thing where I feel like I'm annoying people whenever I post things that are just like any sort of like self-edification, which I would say the stream kind of feels like it. Although I'm trying to give back, it's like there's a camera on me still, so it's a weird thing I got to get over, I guess. I don't know. Maybe it's through the Discord. I haven't been on Discord. I don't even have it open. I need to get back in there again. All these things I like keep meaning to do, then other shit comes up. I apologize. I'm kind of a endless optimist, and that's not always the best or healthiest thing either. So I apologize for that too. Yeah, but a critique stream would be fun. I would definitely be into that. I think I would. Yeah, I don't know like what kind of stuff. I'd be happy to look at photos, design work. I mean, those are probably the two I'd be the most. I don't know. That maybe I'd be okay at doing. Um, shit, this feels like. I was looking at this like this looks like the grid shit I did. Although this probably came out before. This is like everything's been done. It's like I see my grid design in this, but it's like I can almost promise you this was before, and I've never seen this. These kind of coincidences happen. Probably not. This guy's a design director from RGA. Oh. This guy's a G. This works solid. See, I'm so oblivious. I don't know about these people. And all these fucking arrows. I guess that's been a thing. I don't know. No sweat, you do you. I'm a grown man. Appreciate the understanding. So, yeah, it's something about Twitter messages. It's just like the badge goes away, and it's just my head gets in the clouds. I start doing a million things. Definitely gonna take a look though, man. Slowly getting caught up on things. This is like doing shit around the house too. Like I finally, what do? I don't even know. All this stuff I've been putting off for months just because I've been jamming on this initial version and now this version. But I need to just get this done, out. I wonder if I start on this. That'd be too boring. If I start laying out the groundwork for this, starting to animate out some of the different sequences, like some of these symbols and shit, animating in of the grid. I don't know. That might be a little mundane. And like definitely feedback, always welcome. I'm flying blind here. I'm always worried that I'm boring people if I do something for too long, but I don't know if it's good to hear, like have things seem beginning to end. Like it's like my photo site. I did. I mean, I did that from scratch on stream, and by like, I just stopped doing it because I thought I was boring people to tears. Oh yeah, I reverted Sketch. I'm on like Sketch 64 now or something. Was it Sketch 72 is the new version? There's like nothing new to speak of that brought any sort of meaningful value. Photo site. Yeah, having done this thing from scratch, I like that it's chronicled somewhere because right now I don't know when this is going to actually see the light of day. With Ari kind of having to take on client work, I'm taking on client work. I know there's some people who came here through a raid or two in Twitch from like photos, so I think there's definitely I've gotten feedback that photos are something of interest, so I'm into that. You guys let me know. Don't be shy. Tell me this is boring as fuck. Stop talking. So I wish I could just play music. Timothy Ricks on YouTube has great Webflow tutorials. He shows how to implement locomotive scroll. Good to know. Yeah, I think Sal sent me. Yeah, Sal's site. So in here, Sal Sidani. He's got his site. Has Webflow and locomotive scroll, I believe. Oh, so this is, yeah, definitely something I want to poke around with. Livestream is unique in the fact where people like that type of content, slower but very detailed. Seeing process is like the best part. I mean, careful what you ask for there, man. I may just get into the weeds on some shit. I'd love to finish this. There's just a couple
head scratching things. Because also, like, what this has been, I think some people have been here for these streams, but I'm like literally talking out like these different states. It's like, okay, you click this, this happens, then this, and like just go in this like circular logic because I would just find new things that broke other things. So yeah, that's where I felt like that was painful. So I'm like a little reticent to subject people to it, but like if that's valuable, I mean, I'm all like I think everyone tries to project like this polished thing, but like behind the scenes, at least for me, I'm not going to speak for anyone else. Like it's a fucking struggle, man. Like, especially the iterative process. It's like iterative process on something that's detailed like this. It's like, oh, I think I got it figured out, and you're like, oh fuck, I have no idea. Like that's not right. And I was always worried about like these people just think I'm an idiot. Or maybe they just know I'm an idiot now. There's no more like thinking. Proof's in the pudding. Ines? Richard? Hey. How's it? Thank you for coming through. I'm just having a midstream crisis. Asking for feedback on what I should do. I need to have like a poll. Isn't there a poll thing in Streamlabs? Let me go Chrome. I don't know what's in Chrome right now. That's just put this bad boy up. Is there a? Sorry, I'm just pulling Streamlabs up over. I have a spin wheel, stream boss, bit goal, the tip ticker. I'm such a fucking child. Yeah, they don't have a poll. Maybe it's his Twitch thing. I don't know. Well, sources. What? Uh-oh. Lost chat. There we go. Hey. There's no such thing as a new idea. It is impossible. I agree with that. Yeah, there's nothing. No such thing as a new idea anymore. Especially as it pertains to like the web and the interactive world. Goddamn, try as you may. Everything's been done. What? And wide world display. What is this? Why is this so narrow? Sorry, I'm just like looking at this. There's 4 width padding on the hero overlap. There's 4 width on that. This is crazy. Why would I put this in the rocket then? Oh, that's why. Super fine. I'm in holidays. Nice. What holidays are there? Oh, you're probably just on vacation. I don't know if that's like on holiday. I think that's like a British thing. I don't think anyone says that in the US, but I think I get it. Lucky you. I don't know what you're doing listening to me. The struggle bus just pulled up to this bitch. Oh man. I've been riding shotgun in the struggle bus for years. I had that thing parked here. Gotta like put that in the stream somewhere. Make a struggle bus animation. By the way, love your work. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. It's always hard to take compliments. It's like, I don't really deserve compliments.
I probably need to redo this whole thing. It's like this whole scroll interaction, in theory it's nice, but it just happens too fast. It's like there's no resolve state, and then when it's fully stuck, if I want to have like this stuff scroll out, maybe that makes sense, but like there's no indication of scroll once it locks outside of this. And this is the only instance of like things blurring on my site still, which is sad. Sorry, I'm French. My English isn't perfect. No, you're all good. No, it was just like little differences between like American English and British English. And I think my understanding is that like internationally everyone teaches like British English. So people have like British accents. They'll use British terminology like you're on holiday. So you're right, for sure. Image of the struggle bus should be a bus sitting on a tired dog. I like where this is going. Struggle bus brand. That could be like a role in the Discord channel. Just like everyone on the struggle bus. Let's go. Oh, this is not good. C-section note. I remember this being a problem. It's this too. I have it right on here, but it's way too big. Let's see why. Somewhere I've got pointer masks or pointer events hidden. I don't know why. Oh, this is content padding. See, this is where dumb problems happen. So this -20 view height is counteracting this content padding that's already on here. And it's not on everything, so some of them it has that negative padding, some of it doesn't. And it's right in some places and it's wrong in others. So you can see like it has that additional padding where like technically feels right. I just think this idea of having it stick I think is nice in theory, but I'm just gonna dump it. Fucking done with this. How's it 100 view height? Auto. Oh, good. There we go. No more sticking. I don't care. Got enough shit sticking. This seems a little. There's so many things. This T meta title inline. Like, what are we doing? I think I have a class. T meta title. Dude. But I think the inline added extra padding on top. That's why. So if I create inline, I can add 20 pixels, 40 pixels. There we go. Cleaning up my act. Oh no, so I don't want that one. So the first one shouldn't have the padding. Although this has some weird padding built in. Alexa heading out. Yeah, thanks for coming through. Always a pleasure chatting. Hopefully, maybe streaming tomorrow. Got to see. I might go heads down and try and get some stuff done, but should be back. I don't know if like me just being heads down and working is it all valuable and kind of popping in every once in a while. I think this one's I'm trying to have like more dialogue and more interactive. Um, but I don't know if there's times where I just need to work where that's like it's even worth coming on stream. I was wondering why do you use Sketch instead of Figma, for example? Um, so let's see, what can you? I'm doing Chrome browsing. So let's see. Just getting some stuff pulled up. Oh, we're showing the other window. I guess. Let me see if I can switch this. Sketch. Nope. Okay, go back to desktop streaming, I guess. So for all this stuff, I spent a long time building libraries, and whether or not I actually use them correctly is a different story. Can I edit in library? So I try and keep adding to it, but the idea was like it was just to get really systemized with everything with my brand, like have this as a living document I update all the time. The idea was all my type styles would be consolidated, so I'd be very consistent with this. It turns out in the way that you apply save styles and how you update them actually is a colossal pain in the ass, and I never want to do it again. So this is just kind of like a symbolic thing, if anything, anymore. Which is sad because like in theory it'd be great, but long story short, like if you update these, all these parameters of alignment, vertical alignment, they all get reset to whatever this is set to, and that breaks a lot of layouts, especially like some of these like text blocks. It's not, I've done it several times where it's just like this suddenly starts aligning to the center. It's like, okay, so like all these layouts I got to redo, these get all broken. So these are all like outdated with the asterisks on there. So I bought into the idea of Sketch as like a library, and that's where I want to kind of build everything out. I haven't really used it as much as I thought I would. But for me, a big part is also, I don't think I could pull, no, I probably can't show it. I mean, I have my Stream Deck that I've talked about it, I think at some points. It's on my website. I want to sell like packs of it because I think it's really useful. It's just, it's kind of a mind fuck in organizing it and doing all the icons and everything. Actually, I can show. So I have like all these tools that for me and my efficiency, it's hard for me to justify leaving this and going to Figma. I think they're so similar at this point that I can work in both. And it also like being very pragmatic and kind of efficient is like, I bought the license for Sketch back in the day, and I'm still using the same Sketch 64. I think I was just talking about. Like this version's like a year old. Yeah, 2020. And Figma is it's on the subscription model. And I've had people tell me like you don't have limitations of files in Figma, but for some reason I do. I don't know why. I can only have 3 files. I'm probably doing something really dumb, but that aside, even if that wasn't an issue, I think I'm just so ingrained in the workflow. I know all the shortcuts. Like this Stream Deck is like, I know how to work within this and all these different options and all these automations of like creating new artboards, all the different layout settings. This is all optimized. I can rename things in bulk. I can modify symbols quickly. I know how to create array. Like, I just know the ins and outs of Sketch more, and I don't see a huge value of switching to Figma yet, unless I'm missing something. for me to take on more monthly subscription costs, like, I don't know. I'll wait for like a client who has a license and wants me to use it, and I'll design it. I don't mind. I could probably be more efficient in Sketch, but you're also talking to someone who's just a creature of habit. Like I held on to CS6 forever, just because I think it was the direct select tool. That's all it was, and I held on to CS6 until like 2 years ago. Maybe a year. No, it was like 2 years ago. No, it wasn't even that. I think it was like a year ago. Whenever they dumped it for Big Sur, that's when I jumped off CS6 because it didn't work anymore. So hopefully that helps. I do design in Photoshop as well. I mean, I pulled up like all these old comps. These are all Photoshop. And I dragged my heels on Sketch for a long time, but once you kind of buy into the idea of symbols, and then get into the idea of nested symbols, like there's 3 levels of symbols in these symbols. And I don't know, I love this kind of shit, like thinking very systematically, which I think you can do in Sketch as well. So very similar, same, but different. You show me the grid in Sketch, please. Let's see. This one doesn't really use a grid very strictly. Everything's so full screen. I think I just have like edges. Yeah. I have the layout in there, so I can kind of like, if I have anything that needs to go over it, I can design to that, but I don't know if this stuff is. Yeah, I mean, things are. Oh, no. Somehow that isn't right. Oh, fuck. I messed that up. Or no, it is. It is on the, it's like without the gutter. So for me, I always, like, I was alluding to it earlier, I want to do a full video on grids. I'm trying to think of the best way to do it. It shouldn't be that hard. But yeah, I think it'll be important for me to just kind of break it down. But in general, like I use a 12-column grid. Let me see if I can find something that's more like grid-based in Sketch. I don't know what I have, to be entirely honest. RE site, maybe? Let me see. His stuff was so full screen, though. I don't think that's a good one either. Sorry, I'm just trying to think of like a good project to show this with. Because everything. Let me check the collab archive folder. I also have to think about what I can show. Some of this applied stuff I could probably show. Let's see. I think I designed this on a grid. So I mean, the concept is the same. Just apply it to Figma or Sketch. I think grids are all the same. It's just how you look at them. I am not showing the right screen. Photoshop. Ah, son of a bitch. Photoshop? Come on. Are you serious? There we go. So this was like some explorations I did at Basic for like their applied website back in the day. This was 2018. But so this layout, rather editorial. I think I talked about it last stream. Like I kind of chose this as a moment to just try and do different things. Yeah, I mean it's pretty organic. I think I made that. I think that's a composite. Let's see. Yeah. I was rather proud of that one. Yeah, all this like it's fairly organic, but it all falls under a pretty strict grid in most instances. This actually is not right. This should be here. This line should be, and so you can see like all these values, they should be to zeros. Like, so the way I had these set up, each of these are 120 pixels. 120 pixels, and then 10 pixels per, like each gutter. Well, 20 total, 10 per side. So if you're going to the center point. This is something I liked about designing in Photoshop. It was easy to snap to the center point of those gutters. It's not as easy with like layouts in Sketch, but yeah, I can't remember. But I mean, I don't know if this is all helpful, but some of this stuff like breaking outside of it was kind of like, you know, in most instances, it's probably going to be, oh, that's not the, like it's probably going to get masked at this. So this is kind of like, we had like a little bit of like bleed off. So this is one extra column of bleed off. And then this is like fixed full width. That's kind of how I looked at my files. I think everyone does it a little differently. But everything here, I mean, it should. Do I not have any of these fonts? I do. Some of this stuff moved. I don't know why. But, I mean, there's ways of pushing organic grids to be... Yeah, something must have moved with all this stuff. It's all like just a little off. So much of it's just a little off. But I'm trying to think of the best way, like, so everything falls within there. I guess is the best way to put it. And you can have different insets, like, this is still technically to the grid if you think about the layout. It's like a, it's almost like a 1/3 to 2/3, almost. It should be the same. My guess is, I tend to be like overly systematic about these things. No, maybe not. I was gonna say it should be like rotated, but I don't think it's the same aspect ratio. But yeah, everything's on the grid. Sketch handles library is pretty bad. Figma solves the issues where there's like 10 different styles for one heading. That's good. I have to imagine their style management is much better than Sketch's. Like, Sketch's is not good. And even like I tried the trial of the new versions of Sketch, and it's still just as bad. Yeah, I don't know if there's anything else with that. Figma solves that issue. Okay, yeah, I understand. I was wondering because I'm in design school and everyone is like Figma is the best tool. So you'll find a lot of people, they love to crow about what their favorite tools are, and I wouldn't pay them too much mind if I'm being honest. I would probably do what, like, every tool has its own strengths, and it's going to be a give and take. There's different, like,
Now it becomes on like how you pay for each of them, how you share some of the work. Like some of those functionalities might be more important, less important. Um, I like I've sat on the sidelines as people have kind of duked it out with what they think is the best option. I just go with what I know. I'll try new things, and if there's a legitimate reason to learn something new, I'll do it. But for now, I'm content with Sketch. But yeah, a lot of people use Figma. And again, it really depends on what you want to get into. Like if you want to get into more art direction type stuff, you can do art direction in Sketch and Figma, but I think you're going to get a very narrow, like UI UX sort of lens on a lot of things. I just think like all the way like even in that Photoshop file, like just creating those different assets with like it was like, let's see if I can pull this back up. Words are being tough. Oh, I can't. Come on. Let me go. Bento box. What is this? Is that showing up on stream? No, it's not. It was like all this stuff was just sort of like overlaid and just helped create like this like projection vibe, which I think gets more into like the art direction, and I think there's more room to kind of express things. Where like you can't really do that so much in Sketch and Figma. You can to a certain degree, of course, but sorry, just getting random texts. Yeah, like all these little things, like little details that I think help build art directions and kind of like elevate them a little more. I think it's important to learn something that has image processing abilities, whether that's Photoshop. I think that's kind of the standard. I don't know anything else that compares to it. There's another free option, free alternative Photoshop. I can't remember what it's called. All these fucking... So many people make a killing off these SEO pages. This doesn't even look like any of the ones I was thinking. None of these. What the fuck is this? Paint.net? Get the fuck out of here. Where? Someone. Affinity Photo. That's what I was thinking of. There's things you can do in there, like the image processing, because like how little you can do in Sketch and Figma just blows my mind. Like you can't invert things, you can't. I don't know. There's all these limitations in what you can do, and there's like much more tools at your disposal in Photoshop in terms of like processing and doing things that are a bit more unique. Like I think you become kind of limited by the tools in Sketch, and so you might, if you're working on like a tech brand where it's like very UI focused, I don't think that's as much of a problem. Like that's where everything's going to live. Like why not use the tools to help create that? That makes it kind of just like passively helps it feel at home. But if you want to do like broader stuff, I think learning other tools are important. Is there an easy way to make a grid like this in Photoshop, or did you measure each column beforehand? So I'm curious if it's still around. Let's see. Used to be called Guide. There you go. Oh, it's expanded. You have to buy it now? $36 a year? Oh, it's a subscription? Fuck that. That's pretty lame. I'm gonna get it. It's gotta make some money, but so basically, I don't know if I still have it or not. I doubt it works for CC20, whatever I'm on.
Oh, great. No, don't update. So I literally can't. Fuck you. I don't want to update. Wait. No. I just don't like updating anything. Like every time Adobe wants to do an update, they just like fuck something up. No, like what? So you, oh, this is the pain. It's like I'm trying to like click, like how do I, so if I literally can't use it, why wouldn't I want to keep it up to date? If I have no choice, like if I have to update, wouldn't I want to always? This is like an illusion of choice right here. Fucking Adobe. Literally no options. Well, great, then fucking update. This is the kind of bullshit Adobe does. And if you think that's by accident, it's not. Cringe fucks. I can't stand Adobe. I'm sorry. We're gonna be positive today. So positive. Just gotta check a couple things. Oh man. It's so funny. People like emailing. And it's like they want to have like pretend like they're your friend, but it's so obvious that they just want something from you. It's like the second you try and have a dialogue back, like they just ghost until they need something or want to talk about something specific. Then suddenly they're responding to things 3 months later. It's like, just fucking miss me with that. Like I don't need your fake friendship. If you want to work, just work. Like be an adult. Just need to check, make sure these weren't broken everywhere else. So it's kind of a big change fucking with the height. Although I didn't check responsive. It's probably something I should do. Why is that? Okay. What happens? That looks too big. 18 view height. Okay, whatever. I mean, it's still excessive. Oh, this looks. Oh, see, here you go. What happened here? Pixels from what? It's always fun to see. No issues here. Is this low? Yeah, why is this sticking in a weird spot? 90 pixels, you dummy. So 90 pixels is like the unit of measurement for everything. Like the vertical spacing. Is there, oh yeah, so if guide, actually, let me finish that thought. I've never used these presets before. Sure, 1920. Oh, and a fucking artboard. God, who wants that? Just custom. I usually do like 1600, whatever, heights, whatever. So for me, if I need to do guides manually, I select all and then transform. So the transform lets you snap to
like any of these sort of grabbing points. So now I have my center point, and so I know what my width is going to be. So this is going to be 1440. I can go into why it's 1440 and why I wouldn't really recommend too much else. So that's my total width. And so, I mean, you can do the basic math of 1440 divided by 12 columns is 120. So then if I want to make 12 columns, I will just do 120 pixels and then just use the snapping function and draw them out this way. It's kind of painful, but this is where I'd recommend like having a starter file of, like, if you're going to use Photoshop and you need all these, you just know you have like a web file. Like for me in Sketch, like so I have all these preset sizes over here. So I have like web large. Where the fuck did that go? Oh, web large. And then what is updates? What do you got? After Effects. Why is there two? Can I just update that? Sure. I feel like I'm going to regret that. Okay, onward. Don't fucking do it. No, Adobe. So I have my 1660 by 1200. That's kind of my like single viewport. You might argue 1200 is too high. Ari would definitely argue that. But so if you start this file, it has like this default column structure. So I have in here, I have all these buttons mapped out. So whenever I start a new file, I can, this is my column structure icon, probably needs a little work. Click into that, and then I have like Web 1440, which is my large, Web 960, and Web 320. So, and those will all correspond to these different sizes. Oh, you can't reorganize it. Oh, great. It's just and so what I'll do with this artboard selected, I will just go ahead and press the 1440. And so it'll open up the settings. There's a couple actions baked into it, but it centers it. It makes the right column width. So then I can just pull out layout settings. So this is what it did. It 1440 offset 110 pixels. That's just what the gap is for my 1600 or 1660 width. Number of columns, gutter width 20. So this breaks down into the same what's it called? Same column structure, like same gutters. And this is where like I want to have different variations of gutter widths, because I think there's certain designs depending on what you're doing where you might want wider gutter widths, or you might want to simplify the layout and just go like 6 columns or something like that. Although I probably wouldn't advise it. I think the closest size to that large is 1680 by 1050. Height obviously varies. Yeah, height will always vary. I mean, closer to 16 by 9 is probably the most realistic you're going to get. So there's got to be a better way of doing this. Well, let's just say, so it would be 1600 by 900. It's fairly close. I wish you could like lock this. I don't think you can. Yeah. So I mean, kind of generous. You have to think some people are going to be in here. They're not going to take full width, but I mean, if you want to be like totally realistic, 16 by 9 is fairly close.
I think it's a safe way to go. This is a generous way to go. But 1680, I believe that's adding like another 120. Nope. Yeah, there we go. So another 2 columns. I'd give the short version of why 12 columns is what I do, if that's helpful. The biggest reason is it's just divisible by, like, let's see, make sure I get this right. 360. No, let's go in here. In here. So then if I want to create a grid of 1 column or 1 row, 4 columns, 20 pixel margin. So it's divisible by 4. Make a grid. Nope, 23. It's divisible by 3. It's divisible by 2. So it's like all of these are evenly divisible with a 12 column grid. I feel like, yeah, and you can go even further. This would be, what, 6? And then, of course, 12. So, I mean, this is, in a nutshell, the whole idea of the grid. Yeah, you can get 4, 3, 2. Same with 24. It's like anything divisible by 12. There may be numbers in between which are highly divisible. 3, 4, 6. 2, 3, 4, 6. Divisibility calculator. That's not what I'm looking for. Yeah. There might be other numbers, but anything by 12 that's the ideal grid structure. Purely for that reason, like, you start ending up with weird, like 10 column grids, 8 column grids, maybe not as flexible, 12 columns. I don't know, just gives you all these options in terms of layout. And I don't think you'll need anything more than that. Like, if you need like more subtle offset than this, some people do, then you have the 24 column. Personally, I don't see the need for it. I don't know. I feel like you can use this column structure. Like, the foundation should be built on this, I would think. And like, if you need to have text, like let's say you have text in here. Where's my 1? Like, it's on that. But if you think about how things are developed, you can always inset with padding. And so, like, let's say you need to go, you can go to the center point of that. So now you're basically at a 24 column grid, but I don't think you should be making like fundamental alignments at levels smaller than this. Like, this seems really strange. What would it be, 40? I think that's right. My math might be wrong. No, there you go. So it's like you're technically lined up with that, but this starts feeling like a mistake, if you ask me. Like, if you have text, like, you have text here, and then down below you have text that's like
like this. Like you could argue there are some instances where maybe you're trying to be a little bit more subtle and have like little insets. Fine, but again, I would argue like it should be the same two column, but with like 20 or two view width padding on each side. Um, like if you're making it for interactive, this is where I think like 24 columns is probably better suited for print, if you ask me. I think in the way developers think and they develop, I I'd be hard pressed to see how there's value to this. I'd love to know, like if anyone knows, like please prove me wrong. I will be the first to adopt and eat my words. I haven't heard any like strong case for 24 column. I like saw it on the Area 17 site. What was it? I can't find it. It was there somewhere. It is a thing. People do it. To each their own. At the end of the day. Oh, weird stuff happening there. So I guess I kind of gave away the gist of the grid video. Couldn't help it. Hope that makes sense. Feel free to, like, as with everything, like, I know there's like a somewhere between a 50 and 60% chance. I'm not even going to answer the question in any sort of like satisfactory way. So, why is this not? It is. Huh. Okay. Do you have a ratio you like to use for margins and gutters? Not really. My default is 20 pixels, just for designing at the size that I do. Just because it works so nicely into my 1440. Because then the columns are even numbers. Like I used to be very obsessive over this. I'm not as much now. I think having developed, I've actually gotten less calculated. But I will like, I'll start messing around with like 40 column, 40 pixel gutters. That's something I've definitely played around with, like if it's more editorial. But again, I just find like the whole idea of being able to do inset padding, like just looking at the margins here, like if I really want to do it, like I can stick to the same, I think I have 8 columns is my default. I don't know, I don't think it's on this page. But 8 columns is kind of like the de facto grid for me. And I just find I can just do insets this way, thinking like a developer. So, yeah, I think people like to get carried away with like creating all the, like the golden ratio is another thing. I'm not a believer in that particularly. I think I probably am in the passive sense, but I don't believe in like in making everything this very specific ratio. I'll trust my eye. I'll trust that there's foundation underneath it, and if it ends up being the golden ratio, cool. If it doesn't, then I'm not gonna lose sweat over it. I will be right back. I'm gonna grab a little water. So yeah. Good. I just realized I muted myself. I'll be back in 2 minutes.
Back? Alright. It's working. Although I don't know if... I gotta check my... What am I streaming? Check some setting stuff. Really weird. Some of the levels, like Wavelinks, this Elgato app that you can use to manage your audio. It's really strange, like how things come through. Sometimes it sounds loud enough, sometimes it's not. I don't know. If you hear something, say something. Okay. What should I do? Oh, I gotta. Audio's been fine so far? Sweet. Love to hear it. Yeah, any feedback, of course, always appreciated. Holy shit. Oh. Just getting caught up. Oh, I gotta write one text. Friend sending me pictures of the waves. Oh, good thing there's only been a sewage spill in LA. Let's see. If you want to see the great options I have available, kind of out front of my spot. Firing. It actually doesn't look as bad as I thought it would. And that says a lot. Like, that's like a real shit, babe. Yeah, Rich Harbor died as well. All these surf legends dying out. Rich Harbor, Greg Knoll. Crazy. Yeah, probably not. Ain't it? Time to work. No beach time today. Oh. I don't know why I have that open. It was a portfolio question at some point. If I didn't answer that, definitely feel free to ask. Again, AMA, always. Let's go back. So pending any questions, requests, probably kind of work on this. There's a couple last things to work on. I had my list, but I think I did on stream last time. Simplified it, so now it's just the media gallery. There's no like contact page, there's no swag page, there's no press. I don't need to do that shit. All the teasers need to do. I don't know if like diving through fonts is going to be the most interesting. Kind of just want them different for now. Do you surf often? I used to. I think I've been surfing for like 15, 16 years. I was very fortunate to grow up by the beach, and as an introvert, that was my way of just dealing with a lot of shit. Oh, Ace, you heading out? Good luck with the meetings. I will be in my own meetings pretty soon, I feel like. That's why I have to like think about the beach before I just like work and then want to do personal projects on the side. Beach will be a thing of the past. Yeah, all these yeah. One of the bummers of like the work from home thing, like it's been great, but damn, like there's so many meetings now. Like everyone's got to meet just to get visibility onto things. Make sure people are working. It's crazy. Where's shit? Gotta respond to one last. Sorry. Once. Oh, I can type it now. So I'm not sharing desktop. All right. Let's see. Yeah. Meetings. Who needs them? Nothing have for Zoom. So this is where I don't know if I'm going to do Zoom. I like the idea of Zoom for scroll, but not zoom into details. I think that's hitting too close to home for the photo site. So much of the photo site's going to hinge on the zoom. It's funny, like I gave all these ideas away for this collaboration. Now I'm trying to like parse them into two different things. And not have them feel the same. They're definitely not, but let's see. Sorry, like I have the iPad as my second display, and every time I scroll, it looks like a bunch of stuff is changing. So it's like if there's a notification on my screen, I'm always like I can't not look. It's kind of bad. I think I figured these out. I think there's one thing. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, no, that's fine. I don't need to change that. I figured out the grid state. One thing I can't figure out now is like the thumbnails. Fuck is it? Just thumbnail view. I don't know how to make it so it actually makes sense. I had options up here for like thumbnails and I can't remember what the other one was. I think it was like, oh, the grid was down there. So it's like image thumbnails and grid. They're kind of the same thing, but you don't want them opposing each other. Then it just felt like these were getting too convoluted. It was like there are buttons here, buttons here, buttons here. It's like, what the fuck? Yeah, I even had them like lined up. So I was thinking about like a grid view, but then also having the option to consolidate. That kind of makes sense, but I think that's immediately overwhelming. Like, are those separate? Why is this something? This affects the content to the right. This affects this. It's just this is this is the thumbnail button or one of them. I don't know if I still have these things. I've like iterated so much. There's so much random shit everywhere. Like, why is this still here? What are you doing?
What is this? Oh, that should probably go away. Whoops. What grid did you use for your site? Let's see. I don't think I really used one. I mean, I did. Whenever I had to use grids, I tried to use like a consistent, like 8 column. But it turned into 12 halfway through, and I realized I was being stupid. Like, 8 column solved the one problem I needed kind of structure around, but it didn't solve most things. Sorry, more text. Oh, so yeah, G12 column. So edit grid. And I'm still figuring out grids in Webflow. I'll be entirely honest. I was just having an issue on the Delta page where it was like if I had too many columns in too small of a space, and I had gutters set for the columns, it just like it broke itself. It's like the image would go too wide and create like a horizontal scroll, which was not okay. I don't know if I need to get away from these 1FRs. I did that in one instance, and it did help. It's percentage based. I don't know what the fuck FR stands for. If it means auto flexible. Autofit can be enabled when there are auto flexible FR min max. I don't know. I've never used autofit, if I'm being entirely honest. Maybe I should. That might fix some things. But basically, I don't know what the fuck FR is. But this is what I tried to use throughout. So again, everything, these home collab like combo classes would create some additional, like, so the foundation would be the 12 columns. So if I ever modified, let's say the gutter width at any point, it would update all the combo classes, but all this padding and stuff is specific to each instance. So you can see it's being used in both of these. And because I also have the home collabs, I'm able to like set like very specific row gutters, essentially. So this spacing, like these can just be 2 rows, and I can control the spacing between them just by this right here. I think it's cleaner to do it this way. Just because it's modular, it's flexible. If you need to grow it, it always maintains the same consistency. Whereas sometimes, like when you get into just doing layouts, you find yourself applying paddings to different things. Like sometimes you're applying it to the bottom of elements, sometimes you're applying it to the top, sometimes you, like if you move things around, then you have both, and it's just, grids are so much easier as like a foundational element. Can you show the grid on your site in Sketch, please? I don't think I have one. I don't know what design all I did for. Let me see. Design. Oh no, I did do design. Forgot about this. This probably isn't gonna work, is it? No. Sketch. Web. So this was kind of what I was doing
from my side for the homepage was like this whole exploration on how I wanted to talk about different things. This took forever. Like I deleted so many variations. Um, but this, you can start seeing where it's basically coming together. So the same 12 column structure. So this is one of the few times on my personal site that I actually like sat back and designed. Like I think I had some initial ideas and that's what I started developing around, but there's so much that changes in development and how it actually works that it's, I don't know. It's kind of hard for me to like take my design seriously, where it's like I don't really know because sometimes like you want to have things stick, and sometimes the positioning and proportions don't quite add up the same way you thought in design. So I've more started just doing like rough iterations in Webflow. But this was like I was at such a stalemate with my homepage. I just said, "Fuck it, I'm gonna do this the traditional way," and like this is the old navigation, I think. Um, this is what I wanted to do. So this is the same one I was talking about a little bit earlier. It should be 12 columns. The artboard's a little thinner than it should be. It should be 1660. Yeah, 1660. Just for some of that extra padding. But yeah, as you can see, everything here. I have this idea for like a featured module, which right now is, let's see. I mean, it's turned into what is now Delta, and it's like this sticky element. And I think it's still in here. Oh no, I know I deleted it. I mean, I had this like quick notes thing initially when I launched it so quickly, and there's so much shit broken. I don't know if this merits being like this prominent. It's kind of a lot. But it also like really disrupts the flow between these two sections. I think this sort of layout underneath it, so I turn this off for a second. I think the way this flows into each other works nicely. So I don't really want to change that. That's where I think this overlay is kind of like a cheap bypass, but I'm derailed from the initial question. So I don't know if there's anything else specifically to the grid that you wanted to see. Yeah, this is kind of my de facto grid that I feel comfortable designing within. Yeah, for better or worse. I should probably post up some of these. This shit was fun. And I lost the interactive version of this. This is all like modified on mouse position. Is this with like an additional couple layers on top? It's sad. I think it's in my. I want to donate, but the link doesn't work. Oh shit. You know what? It's funny you mentioned that because there is a donation page somewhere. And it just changed. Like I was just going through Twitch, trying to figure out what the domain was. Tip. What is this? That's not it. What? Is that what it actually looks like? I don't even know. But this is like, I need to get that figured out. What was the URL? Streamlabs.com/Jw.S Studio. It should work. I thought I set it up properly. Is it Twitch or is it just Streamlabs? Yeah, any donations greatly appreciated. I mean, by no means necessary, but you know, there are costs, and like it all adds up. It all helps. Like um, that's kind of why I started creating like cheaper products and stuff like that as ways to kind of support what I'm doing, but actually like get something back too. And hopefully there's, I don't know, some value coming back with these streams. So if you want to donate, great. Maybe I need to get my shit together before that can happen. I would say probably. Let me know if that works or not. I'd be curious. Because you would be the first donation. And that was greatly appreciated. I always liked this, but I never... I had this as like a sub footer. Is it still there? Sub footer, still here. Buried. I'm giving away all my Easter eggs. What am I gonna do? I'll get that right someday. Yeah, I was gonna have like a... no one gives a fuck about these Easter eggs. But have like a button here that like took over the whole thing and kind of hidden. It'd be like this dot. I've done that before as an Easter. It was an Easter egg on my old site, but that would like trigger an animation that would just happen. I want to do fun shit like that. Oh no, you're not even looking at my screen because I'm not showing it. So this is what I was rambling about. So it's still in the subfooter. Yeah. So this is going to be like an extra section underneath. Whether it was just going to like animate up and take over the footer, or if whether it was just going to like push down. So there might even be, no, you would definitely see it. I think what I should do is add for view width margin top. No. Oh shit, where's the border on this? No. Wait, what if I do it here? And then got rid of it here. Oh shit, I do. Nope. Nope. Wait, what? Nope. Nope. Wait. So this way, you get to the bottom, you click it, and you don't know that something's loaded underneath. Oh. Don't need that now. So yeah, you get to it, it'll lock here, click, then I can have it show the... You know what? Fuck it, let's just do it. Let's make an Easter egg. Tap. Start animation. Footer. Probably not. This isn't how you do Easter eggs. You don't do them on a stream and show them exactly where they are. Hey man, it's been a while since I checked out a stream, but congrats. Ah, thank you, Kevin. Appreciate it, man. Yeah, I feel like, you know, there's only so much of me I can take at times too. Don't worry about it, man. Probably need like a palate cleanser go off and you know, take a little break. Oh, I'm such an idiot. Don't mind me. So it's gonna click that.
Change target subfooter. Show that shit. Duplicate. So we just need to have the initial state as hidden. And then if we do opacity, I mean, it shouldn't matter. I don't really need like a fancy transition. Just the scroll bar will show up. Maybe scroll into view for some of the content. I can animate the content on scroll into view. Wait. Hide. Let's see if this works. There's so much stuff I gotta fix. Good thing I'm working on this. No! No! Why are you on top now? It does work. See, it doesn't even have the cursor change yet. Set this to class. Yeah. This should work everywhere. Congrats you popping in to say this as it's 1 a.m. here. Oh, dude, thank you for coming through, man. Rocket ship? Yeah, usually that's me after a couple edibles, just going to the moon. But yeah, the side of the month thing, it's pretty wild. It does feel like going to the moon a little bit. Definitely foreign territory. Hopefully this isn't too loud. Yeah, it's just wild to me. Oh, to fix this reason. 100? Let's go 1,000. Let's see you scroll over that shit now. What? You fuck? Are you kidding me? So it's when you love Webflow sometimes you're like, okay, it works properly. But not publish it. Sometimes it's just like I don't know what's real anymore. The designer shows one thing, the designer preview shows a different thing. Maybe the live site shows a different thing. I don't know. We'll find out. Biding my time. What's the do you think this is gonna work? Guess is no. Great. Fantastic. Bye.
z-index 100. This is 200. This is where it gets into like a dumb race to the moon. It's like, no reason why this should be over. I had a weird thing where my images kept resizing in the designer view. So that might be if you don't have image width set to 100 sometimes. Like, I think it tries to stretch it, but sometimes if you don't actually force it to 100%, it'll just like oscillate. I think I know what you're talking about. Like, it just is depending on like where your browser is. Sometimes like images will shift sizes, and you're like, what the fuck? So what I found works is just like forcing it to go full width. That's usually pretty helpful. Seriously, what? What did I do that changed that? I know I messed around with the footer. Well, gotta try and undo everything now. Far enough? This is where like the history is just scary. Like I don't know what the hell I'm doing. It'd be nice if there's a list. Well, I'm as far back as I can go, so apparently whatever I did isn't what caused this problem. So confused. Index 100. Z-index 200. Please, if somebody knows what the hell's going on. Like, why is it working here? And it works on a live site right now. Like, I don't want to go to a backup, but I might have to. No, live site does it wrong. Oh shit, this has been a bigger problem than Well, let's... I was trying to create a marquee with the images, so I have to mess around there more, but it seemed fine in the live site, so I don't know. Yeah, there's just, I mean, it could also just be a weird bug with... what's it called? The previewer in Designer. I don't know, I think it maybe just renders random things differently than it does in browser. That's what always get me is like I would do all my testing in Chrome, then I pull into Safari and just like the weirdest, dumbest incongruencies. Well, this is frustrating. It has to be something in the animation then. So I have like a promo bar show. What if I get rid of this and then preview? Problem. Here. I mean, it's not the biggest problem, but it's just annoying. Like, why? I know how it should work. I'm looking at it in my editor on how it should work, and it just
doesn't want to do it. It's like I don't want to go so far as to get into like really weird Z indexes. What if I just make this static? It's above everything. Why? Why the fuck? Alright, I get frustrated with these things sometimes. Be better. All these E indexes are 20. Where is it getting this from? Notification bar. I mean, this is dramatic. What is... What? Can go behind things. Son of a bitch. Overflow hidden. Overflow gets weird with overflow hidden. How would I have overflow hidden? That's really strange. Nothing on contact. It would be really dumb if it's if I detach from symbol. Then it works. This is part of the fun of troubleshooting this stuff. And I'm just trying to think of like what the difference is between this and even the preview, let alone this and like the live side. Like it's really odd. I think we're just gonna have to live with it. Worst things to have. Close it. I'm gonna try and figure that one out though. I think I'm just gonna swear at my computer and drive people away from the stream if I spend any more time on that. That's not very strategic. That's squashing bugs. That's not a stream activity. Yeah, hopefully that kind of answers the question about the grid. If there's anything else on that, definitely feel free to ask. I was just looking at this. Don't say. Concept. I don't really use this tall anywhere. I don't. Or actually, I might have a tall comp. I was trying to just show, in this instance, like I haven't really said it. It doesn't really matter now at this point. Um, yeah, Ari was going to work on this one. So he's asking all these questions about how this thing scales. So just quick little things. I mean, it's a quick little state to design, but I think it helps him a lot kind of understand some of the different scaling elements. It helps him decide positioning elements. Just a lot of things. Okay, I'm just gonna start. I've done this about 20 million times, like going through the flow. This shouldn't exist. This shouldn't exist. Good. Where did that state go? I had like don't tell me I lost it. I am so smart. Crazy. Well, I had like a font I liked for this car. I worked on like the design of like upcoming builds. But the only like I really like this visibility into this grid, but I just part of me feels like this is a more appropriate approach. So this is where I'm like I'm kind of just abandoning all sense of a grid. It's like a full screen experience, and my grid's not built for that. It's a shitty excuse, I know. I showed the original. I had some better iterations of this with the actual collaboration. I just need to change out assets and change names. Fact, I'm not even gonna say it. The idea is like stop turning that grid on if I'm not going to use it. A flexible approach. Easy way to navigate quickly. I like the visual aspect of this though. And then having this as a list. This is where it bounces back and forth, where it's like you have the list view, but the problem is like this is their current list of builds. The site that I was building for didn't have this many builds. So now this is where like I'm pivoting the initial collaboration concept into something else, and it's got totally different content requirements. And I've been kind of like waiting to see whether or not I should actually make any meaningful changes, or if I should just say fuck it. Like, yeah, there's some shortcomings to it, but the second you do that, like you really undercut the value of like this unsolicited concept. Then it falls into like a oh, it's not real sort of category. But like if you consider everything as realistically as possible, like I don't want this problem. I figured out a problem with less builds, but now I've got to redo it again. I could just say fuck it and like yeah, go with it, but I have to think of this as like Singer's the client and like put my client hat on for all this shit.
I do think the build nav works bigger. How this all moved. So we even got less space now. So I moved it down. Where do all builds go? With number needs to come down. And the thing is, like, everything else outside of the one in focus is what's shown. So this way you hover over it and then it just swaps in the background, click it. And it just takes you into that build. So this is really just the same way as like panning around. But this might, having both might be a better kind of best of both worlds. You have the quick scannability or you have the visual way of scanning. If I go with something like this, it's really only like interaction based. You can't just explore like a grid. Like with this top one, you can kind of get like a bird's eye view on their builds very quickly. The other problem I have with that is that the images are very, like some are very consistent and some are very different and they don't have these angles. So realistically, from a content perspective, like I have to think about that. How do I solve that? Because this grid right now looks like a fucking mess. Either I like make them bigger and don't go like that. Like that's where I think this grid works better. It deals with inconsistencies much better than the other version. So that's, I'm leaning towards this. I had thought about like retaining some form of zoom for this again, but the zoom is going to be part of the photo site. I don't want to like, the less overlap between these, the better. That's what I would say. So I'm actually going to delete these now. I'm just going to make that executive decision. Like trying to figure this out and incorporate zoom. It's just, it's inheriting too many problems right now for what this is worth. Like this is, I'm salvaging a scrap concept. I don't need to go and create more new problems for myself. Like I need to get this out the door and I need to kind of like, because like if I'm Singer, like I'm not gonna look at this and think, damn, he didn't even come up with a way to see more in one viewport. Like this is concept work. Like I'm happy to explain these things I've thought through, but my time for doing this is like I'm not being paid for this. I need to just get this done. So this is the kind of thing where like I'd love to do it, but I'm just gonna go ahead and executive decision this shit right on out of there. Delete. Already got it. Delete it. How did you decide your portfolio is done and ready to go out into the world? I think it was just, oh, excuse me. For me, it was just narrowing things down further and further. There was like less things I had problems with. Like, it got to a point where I knew I was never going to be totally happy with everything, but it's like elements started feeling right or good enough for what I was looking for. Like this index module, it took a couple iterations to get there. But this like started feeling right. So I stopped exploring that. This list view was not here. It was actually just the grid view that was here. And the grid view was something I explored a lot too. That finally got to a place where I didn't feel like I needed to iterate that anymore. And it was just kind of this progressive of just checking things off of like, yeah, like that feels good. I'm happy with that. I don't feel compelled to come back to it. There are still some things that I feel compelled to come back to, like these headers. I feel compelled to come back to. It just feels underwhelming to me. I tried so hard to make them interesting by having like all these crazy line breaks, and I don't think and all this spacing. It was like I'm just trying to like fix a problem by creating another one. Like whatever the fuck it was just like that was me being frustrated. This left rail, how this is spaced, how this is like created, needs figuring out. This interaction, I still feel compelled to come back to. I like the idea of it. I don't really like the execution of it. Ooh, that's not. Why is this so? Figure that one out. This still bugs the fuck out of me so bad. I need to figure this out. So that's basically what I would say is like, I just kept reducing things down until I didn't feel like there were any huge problems. I knew I was never going to be happy with it or like totally content. I'm happy with it. I'm not content with it. I think there's a difference to it. And yeah, I just got to a point of like the things that were problematic were enough for me to let go. And there's just that point of diminishing returns where it's like, I would identify things as either like a crucial error or it's like my personal goal of perfection error, where it's like it works, it's not bad. I wish it was better, but I don't have the answer for it right now. Then I would just like, okay, then that's off the list. Like that's a post-launch thing. I'm not going to stress about that right now. Which can be a slippery slope because like when you get to that point is up for debate. What falls in those different categories is up for debate. Wow, this is so broken. Why is this? I don't know why this is sitting at the top. It's kind of interesting. Definitely shouldn't be. Thought that would fix it. It does not. So it's like things like that. Like this sort of bug of like where it sticks is too high. I just got to a point where it's like everything is just kind of noodling. I can get it live and I can fix something like that without the wrong person noticing it. I've made it pretty clear that I'm not a developer, so any sort of bug I think is to be expected, or any sort of oddity at some viewport is to be expected. Like that's just it's not my specialty. Like this sort of spacing, like why is this happening? Employee? This is where I like come back to it and I just start spending more time fixing things and being okay with fixing things progressively. I don't know if that's a great or satisfactory answer. You just become less annoyed with it to a point where you're like, okay, I can share this with people now. It's not a total embarrassment. It feels slightly like a representation of my abilities. Maybe the shortest answer is there is no real good answer. Looking at different ways of displaying like the brand CTAs. I think the idea is that it's always going to snap to the middle. Great with image grid this size, but again, something I'm not going to split hairs about right now. I may need to jump off here actually. Fuck. Almost 3.5 hours. Not bad. Not bad. Thank you to everyone who came through, as always. Apparently the boom mic is, or the mic boom, showing up tomorrow. Hopefully, was it Elgato comes out with a camera tomorrow. Stop using this stupid camera. That's terrible. Yeah. Should be back tomorrow. Maybe a chance of like a late night photo stream. I don't know. Just jump on, just do photos, see what happens. But yeah, Arjun, of course. Like happy to chat as always. You always got a ton of good questions, so really appreciate you coming through and yeah. I'm gonna try and come back tonight. Let's see. Let's see. So, if not, for sure tomorrow. I'll commit to it. All right, everyone. I'll see you guys tonight.